I feel that a set should be like a happy family, almost like Thanksgiving every day, happily going down the road together, getting along and congratulating people all the time of their good work and, um, you know, getting a really great feeling, a safe feeling too for the actors, so they can, like I say, let go and go to a new character with as little fear as possible and really get in there deep. People who run a set on fear or a business on fear, I say, are really stupid. If you run your business on fear, you're going to stress the people. You're going to cause all kinds of conflicts and jealousies and backstabbing to get ahead in the business. When the father or mother come home from work, they're going to be coming home tired and stressed, and the little kids can feel this, and there can be arguments in the home based on this stress and anxieties and tension. And the little kids are just like wondering, what is this kind of world? And when you have a fear-based thing, people don't want to go the extra mile if necessary to help the company. They want to say, fuck you, man. And they are not happy campers, and it doesn't serve the work. Ideas don't flow. Creativity doesn't flow so much. Like I say, negativity cramps that tube through which these ideas flow. It squeezes it down, and you're not happy, to help the company. You're almost a hate grows for the company, and that is really bad. And it doesn't serve anybody any good at all. So the happier the company, the more creative it's going to be, the more the people will happily want to help if it's necessary one day to stay late. Are you kidding? They won't have a problem at all. The next day you have a special lunches for them. And, it's beautiful. You're all together on this planet trying to live a life, a good life. Why would you torture people? It's crazy. We're in this thing together. We've got to start enjoying this trip. I arrive on a set wanting to get today's work done and have it be absolutely true, every element to the idea. So it's a precarious, uneasy thing in the mornings or the beginning of the shoot time. And a lot of times things are like molasses in January, in the early starting of a day. And sometimes it looks like maybe we might not make our day. So it's very important that you get everything going and get into it so you can make the day. And what's even better is to make the day and maybe even get some extra things if they come along. And I always say that in the morning or the beginning of the shooting day, to me, it's like there's this deepest canyon and you're building a glass bridge. It's so delicate, it could go wrong at any moment. This glass bridge is going to carry you across. And you don't know if it's going to hold together. You're just trying to get everything right. And then at the end of the day, the glass turns to steel and you've got everything and you feel good. You got it true to the idea. The day has come where you're on the set or on the location. They're all kind of like sets. And they've been dressed a certain way, and the actors come in wearing certain things, and now you're going to have a rehearsal. So I clear everybody away and start rehearsing. And before we start rehearsing, even say, you're going to be here, you're going to be here, you're going to be here. And then, okay, then we start the thing and we have a rehearsal and we talk a little bit about something if it's something's needs to be talked about, and then get it so it's pretty much really ready to go. Then bring in the crew and show it to them so they know what to do, to get ready to shoot it. And it mainly involves lighting. So then, sometime later, it's lit. Everybody has done their job, and in the actors come and we start shooting. And in the rehearsal, you're going around and you see where, you want to be, where the camera wants to be. If making the day put so much stress on you that you weren't open to things, happy accidents or seeing something, it's never that bad. It's just in the beginning, you want to get as good a start as you can so that you will finish the day on time and get those things. So I say it's important at the beginning to get the train rolling as soon as possible, in a nice way, but as soon as possible, because it can slip away. And then if something else comes along, there's many ways to skin a cat, they say. You'll get that thing. That just will be added in, and people will boogie and make it happen. It just is that way. People who have worked with me kind of know wherever I'm sitting, that's the main camera angle. And so it's mostly common sense. And a lot of times it's just like, a wide shot, medium shot, close up. There's some kind of trick thing sometimes, but it's what happens in those shots and the size of those shots and the mood and the light. It doesn't need a lot of trick camera things, at least for what I want to do, mostly. Getting the coverage that is true to the idea. If 47% happened perfect in this take, then you try to get the 53% in the next takes. Maybe 27 of the next 53 happens in take 2. Then the rest you got, and that fact, the third, it was good all the way through. Then you got plenty of things to pick from. Always a good feeling when you finish a scene. And a lot of times that means you finish the day. Now, if you have more time, which would be really nice to have, you might get in and get some different kind of coverage of that scene. Or you might shoot a clock on the wall or a painting on the wall or dust bunnies under a chair or drift across the floor if it plays into the scene some way. And maybe some extreme close-ups with certain looks, and just give yourself some more things to work with. I came into filmmaking through painting. In painting, well, nowadays people have assistants even in painting. It's crazy. But in a painter, you do everything. You don't have somebody paint the blue and then another person paint the red. You do everything. It was common sense to me that if you're going to build a set, you got to build it yourself or be involved with it yourself. Then you make it the way that you want it. You become one with it. And all these things are now almost like they were in your head. And then once you're in that, on Eraserhead, I'd say I was in the set, I could almost hear distant factories, and I would imagine it raining and little diners and all these factory houses, row houses, little narrow streets, stoops, and factory people, and smoke and fire and all this world around. And all those things outside, that can all be said with sound. And it's just a beautiful thing to get into it deeper by, getting your hands in there. You're feeling and knowing the world by being in it. If you're not with the crew, then that won't happen. We're all in the trenches, and that's where it happens. I was in Laura Palmer's house, at the top of the stairs, in between the parents' bedroom, Leland and Sarah's room, and Laura Palmer's room. I was on my hands and my knees, working on something on the rug, and I don't know what it was. And I was pointed toward Sarah and Leland's room, and behind me, the set dresser, Frank Silva, was arranging Laura Palmer's room, putting in the furniture and arranging things. And I heard a girl say, "Frank, don't lock yourself in that room," because he had just moved a dresser, apparently, in front of the doorway in his process of arranging. But when I heard that, I pictured Frank in the room, and something happened, and I went running in and I said, "Frank, are you an actor?" And he said, "Why, yes, I am, actually." I said, "Okay, you're going to be in this scene." He said, "Well, what am I going to do?" I said, "I don't know, but you're going to be in here." And so the next thing up was a slow panning across Laura Palmer's room. Just a slow pan, I forget what for. And we did 2 very beautiful slow pans. And then I said, "Okay, now Frank, you go down to the foot of the bed and grab onto these railings and look right at the camera. Freeze and look right at the camera." So we got down there, and then we panned down, and we stopped, and there's Frank. I didn't have a clue what that meant. So then that evening, we were downstairs in the living room, and Sarah Palmer, totally distraught. She's lost her daughter. She's laying down on the couch, totally distraught, and she's tormented. And in her mind's eye, she sees something which causes her to bolt upright and scream. And Sean, the camera operator on the wheels, goes, whoop, and I say, "Perfect, we got it." Sean said, "No." I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "There was someone reflected in the mirror." And I said, "Who was reflected in the mirror?" He said, "Frank was reflected in the mirror." So something started growing, and then there it was. Bob was born then. Bob was born then. He was born. Just like when someone's born, there they are. Like the thing exists somewhere already, and then we get it little by little. They come in. What's necessary. It's many times tough to get the day. There's a lot of things that just take time to do, and it's the reality. So your time with the actors in the scene, the part that goes on the frames, you really focus on getting those things that go on the frame to be correct. And the rest is unimportant. Just make sure you get what you need on those frames, captured on that card and captured on the sound card. That's what you need. You never compromise those things. it would be pretty crazy to say, oh, I made it on time, on budget. I compromised like crazy and this film sucks. So you want to get the gold no matter what. Don't ever take no for an answer on that.